There are a few sounds you never want to hear in a race car. Squealing tires, grinding brakes, and the sound of your entire weekend disappearing. Somehow, this little Toyota Yaris that we've been beating on weekend after weekend was fighting for a win in a C-Class. And then I completely blew it. Hi, my name is Marshall, and this is Gary. Gary is our mostly stock 2009 Toyota Yaris, who we have made into a legit race car. Our team built Gary 2 years ago, and since then, we have been to 6 endurance weekends with the 24 Hours of Lemons. Despite all of the racing challenges and repairs that we've had to make to Gary, he's still a great car, finishes the race, despite whatever idiocy we manage to throw at it. We have a little bit of downtime before our next event, so I wanted to make a video and kind of cut together some clips and tell our story from our previous event, which was at the Carolina Motorsports Park. Our team races Gary in the 24 Hours of Lemons, which, if you haven't heard of it, is endurance racing for questionable ideas. The events are centered around cheap cars, $500, weird themes, and creative engineering, and some very serious racing. Wink. This was Gary's 6th race weekend and our 2nd time at CMP, so we kind of knew what to expect. For this weekend's adventure, we had the powerful trifecta of myself, Paymon, one of our original members, and Dan, who came back to us after nearly freezing his butt off at Barber Motorsports Park in February. His own team, the Four Horsemen, we're still putting together the pieces following an accident at Road Atlanta, so we were glad to have him back with us again. Going in this weekend felt pretty good. We were showing up with some experience. We'd been here last year, we kind of knew how the track worked, we knew where we could push Gary a little bit more, and we had also made some upgrades to the car. We had a new rear window, which is the first time it's been enclosed since the infamous rollover accident in Atlanta in 2024. We added a new rear wing setup, which pushed the foil higher into faster air and also gave us more angle of attack for more downforce to keep the rear end stable. We also added a new front splitter to give Gary more downforce and really take advantage of all the grip that he has in the corners. Dan had fitted Gary with a homemade device that measured suspension travel, GPS location, car speed, all types of data. So that was awesome to see. You know, real legit race car stuff. Because Gary doesn't have much power for the straightaways, our strategy was to use our lightweight and big brakes to take advantage of CMP's layout and outmaneuver cars in the corners. Thursday was our arrival day. Paymon and I loaded up Gary that morning onto a U-Haul trailer, and then we made the trip into Camden, where we stopped off and checked into our Airbnb. So we checked into our Airbnb. It was a nice riverfront cabin, which sounded amazing. What we actually got was a slightly dingy fishing cabin on stilts. Slightly concerning, but we were mostly there to sleep anyway. CMP is really known for having sandy, soft soil all throughout the paddock. It's messy, it gets stuck on everything. It's like being at the beach and working on your car. It doesn't work out. Last year we had our jack stands sink into the dirt as we were trying to lift up the car. So this year we made the move to rent a space in the pavilion, which is covered and has a concrete base. So that was definitely the move. It was a really good spot to set up. We were next to a bunch of people and actually saw a lot of friends we knew. So no complaints there. Once we unloaded our entire circus, tools, tables, banners, bins of random parts that we hoped we would never have to use, we dumped the trailer in the overflow area and we headed off to get dinner and prepare for the next day. Friday was test and tech day, so we got things started off pretty early because we had registered for testing, so we were allowed on the track before everybody else. Dan and Paymon took Gary out for a couple rounds of laps while testing our new aero setup and trying to remember how CMP worked. It has a couple of tricky corners that you need to think about. A lot of things daisy chain together, Really good flow, but you gotta nail it. And then, late apex, all the things.
Yeah!
The new front splitter immediately made a difference. We could tell that Gary was turning in better, had better grip in the corners, way less understeer than normal, and we could really push, which was great news, except for one tiny issue. The splitter was mounted a little too low. We had kind of homemade some mounts and got it wrong. We were trying to go for low effect to try to maximize the effect of the splitter, but we ended up not accounting for our really soft suspension. And by scraping, I mean we could clearly hear it from the side of the track. We heard just grinding, especially on left-hand turns. Softish suspension just kind of lets go and you hear it on the ground. After Dan and Paimon finished their test runs, we went through our tech. So gear tech, our gear was fine. It's all fairly new, so no problem there. And then our car tech, nothing to worry about. Gary is a good boy, so he passed with flying colors. After the tech, we went back to the paddock, and following a quick bite to eat, it was sandwich time. I was up next for a round of test laps. Reports were correct. The splitter was working well. It felt really good. Like I said, it felt really hooked up. Didn't feel too draggy on the straights, but it was absolutely scraping the ground and pretty badly. You could just hear all of your hard work and the wood grinding away in the corner, and so that was pretty distressing. I knew we had to make some changes if it was going to survive the race weekend, so Dan and I took it a couple hours, made some adjustments, refitted some things, and set the angle and supports back to where it needed to be to run again. Once we were good to go, Dan gave us one more round of test laps and put it through its paces, really leaned on Gary to see what was possible, and then we just had to roll with it. So literally we packed up everything and had to run down to downtown Camden to get prepared for the BS inspection and the block party. The CMP is a special race with the 24 Hours of Lemons, so what they do for this event is they partner with the city of Camden and throw a big block party downtown. It's awesome, but it's also a little bit hectic trying to get all of your cars down there, so it's the whole 100-ish of us all driving down in either trailers, or if your car is lucky enough to be registered and street drivable, you can drive it. But making our way down to Camden, we unloaded, got in the parade line, and then pulled into our spot on the square and then hung out for a few hours, which is awesome. I really enjoy the event. It's always a good excuse to talk to a bunch of race fans, just talk to people about all the effort and time you put into this goofy car, and then learn about their goofy cars. So we park on the street and hop out and then hang out with our neighbors until the judges come around for the BS inspection. A BS inspection is a time when the judges come around and take a look at your car. They inspect your car, they look at your theme, they may receive a few bribes, but it also helps them determine where to place your car, what class to put it in. The fast class is A class, B class is the maybe class, a little bit faster, C class is slow class, and it allows the judges to also penalize you for some of the cheatier things that you may have done to your car. So Gary is our little C class hero. He is honestly slow. It's a stock Toyota Yaris with the 1.5 1NZ engine.
No shit.
That makes about 100 horsepower. His only real advantages are the header that we put on, the open exhaust, a cheap set of coilovers, some really sticky tires, and the big brake kit from a Toyota Corolla. Altogether, we ended up in C class with 0 penalty laps, which was an awesome way to start the weekend. After some food and drink at a local bar, and a little more mingling with Lemons racers, we loaded up and headed back to the paddock. Our bubble-tastic street party had left a bunch of residue all over the windshield, so we cleaned that off and got the car prepared for the next day. Saturday morning, Dan starts the race. He was our fastest driver at Barber, so our house rules apply, and he gets to pick the order of rotation where he wants to start. And immediately, he was flying. You just can't resist fresh tires on a good day, honestly. It was nice, temperatures were great, 200 treadwear tires are nice and sticky, and there's no better time with a wing, with all the aero, hook it up, really send it around the track. So Dan's out there, clean start, laid down some good laps, and he goes and gets a personal best that morning of a 2:01.79. That may not sound fast, but that's pretty fast for a Yaris. Paymon got our fastest lap last year with a 2:03 flat, so we were improving. After seeing Dan turn in that time, we were feeling pretty good. So Paymon and I went down to the hill in front of turn 14 and along the front straight to go watch the opening laps of the race. That's when we kind of noticed something. The splitter decided that it had had enough. Our efforts to raise it a little bit more off the ground weren't quite there. Every time Dan went around the left-hand corner, especially 14, you could hear it scrape pretty bad. So we were watching, keeping an eye on it from the side of the track. I was taking photos, and we were just hoping to maintain and keep it on the car. The scraping was getting more and more noticeable, and then while watching from the front straight, we could see that it had come loose and the splitter was now flapping in a straightaway, and that's when I knew that we had to take action. Rather than let it explode off the car and risk damage to ourselves or someone else, we called Dan into the pits, and Paymon and I took the splitter off the car as quick as possible. We only suffered an 8-minute lap, which is no harm. It was still very early in the race, so we had plenty of time throughout the weekend to make it up. Then came mistake number 2, fuel. Now, Gary usually gets great gas mileage. Honestly, it's one of the true gems of having such a small engine. Normally our race pace, we can last about 2.5 hours. We've done it before, but Dan was driving like a man on a mission, so we were using a little bit more fuel to keep up with his pace. And one lap before we call Dan in, he runs out of gas. Right up into the carousel, car just shuts off. That was the end of our first stint. It was kind of funny walking through the paddock and hearing everyone go, "Oh, Gary's got a problem, Gary's got a problem, oh, there's something wrong with Gary." We just ran out of gas. We misjudged that one, so that's on us. The tow crew was great, and they picked up Dan, put him on the back of a flatbed, took him on a shortcut through the woods, and brought him back around to the hot pits. We fueled up Gary, got him started, there were no issues with the car, changed drivers, and even so, everything cost us about a 19-minute lap, which not great, but no harm to the car, so we were okay. Even with those mistakes, Gary's pace was still really strong. Paymon was up next and got to work doing what endurance racing rewards: consistency. Lap after lap for 2 solid hours, Paymon turned about 50 laps, getting a personal best for Saturday of 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Not too bad, but exactly what we needed at that point: consistency. He finishes his run and comes into the hot pits for our driver change and refuel. And during our stop, he turns to me and says, "Somebody's wing fell off on the track and they're just leaving it out there. They haven't picked it up yet. So be careful going into the hairpin." Surface crap is definitely something we've seen before, so good look, and I'll be sure to avoid it. We go to complete the pit stop, and I look back at Gary. There's no wing on the car. Turns out that was ours in the middle of the track. So sorry to whoever ran that over. You didn't intend for that. Turns out the mounts that we had made were actually doing some work. They were experiencing a lot of downforce, and I think throughout the weekend running over rumble strips had just been too much for them. So they let go and we ended up with no wing. So now that we had lost 2 of our main aero components on the car, it was my turn. My average lap times were pretty good, on pace with Paymon's, which were only a few seconds behind Dan, so everything was going well, nice and consistent. I just wanted to make sure we improved our day, ended on a high note, and like I said, keep making laps, keep consistency, don't break the car. Mostly just finish the day. My personal best for the day was a 2:06.5, which was slowest by a tenth, but I wasn't complaining. We had finished. We did the first day, no issues. The first race day ends. Somehow we're sitting in 14th overall and fighting near the top of C-Class. This is the best Gary had looked on a Saturday in a while. No major mechanical issues, no black flags, no crashes. It was a good day. We get back to the paddock, changed the brake pads, rotated the tires, did a quick alignment check, and started quietly wondering if we actually had something up our sleeves for Sunday. Sunday morning was wet. It had rained overnight and was still kind of drizzling, but it was clearing up and headed out. To prep for it, the windshield got a full Rain-X treatment because our wipers are rated slightly above decorative. Paymon took the 2-hour-long pre-quiet hour stint while the track slowly dried. It was pretty eventful. Cars were sliding everywhere, Gary included. It was a handful, but personally I love running in the rain. I think it's a lot of fun, but you just have to be careful. Paymon did a great job out there, putting down consistent laps that only got faster. Pushing for pace in wet weather is not easy. It's slippy, it's dangerous, it's different. His fastest laps of the day came at the very end, a time of 2:05.2, which was an improvement over Saturday. We ended Sunday morning P2 in our class and 12th overall, still feeling great. So the morning stint is over. Gary comes back to the paddock, and we make sure to clean off the windshield and get him prepped for the afternoon stint. So Dan was up first for the afternoon, and that's when things started to feel real. We were really in a good place. We were right up neck and neck with car 35 for a good portion of that afternoon. Dan was putting down ridiculous lap times again, even without the wings. And then car 35 seemed to need a couple extra fuel stops from us. I think they might have been playing it safe, but we thought that we could definitely maintain more laps if we were able to use our fuel efficiency to advantage. Then, out on track, Dan got black flag for passing under yellow. He genuinely missed the caution that was out there. Thankfully, the judges only gave us a warning. It was our first black flag of the weekend, and they knew we were in a pretty close fight for C-Class. After some more amazing laps, Dan set Gary's fastest lap of the weekend, a 2-minute flat, 2 minutes .87 in a Toyota Yaris. What is happening? So the number 35 car pits. They go in for fuel and a driver change, which is great for us because while Dan's out there turning crazy good laps, we actually go into the lead for C-Class by about 2 laps. So it's awesome. It feels, real for the first time. And we all started talking to each other. Maybe this is the time. Maybe this is it. Maybe 6 races is our goal, our winning streak. There you go. So Dan brings Gary back into the pits. We start refueling. I believe we get done with refueling as I go to get into the car and there's a red flag. So somebody on the track had blown an engine, put a bunch of oil down everywhere, and had subsequently caught on fire when they pulled into the grass. So a lot of excitement. They call the red flag, which means that we can't work on our car while it's in the pits. So we stand by, wait for a little bit. Then I jump in the car, get strapped in, ready to go, take off under full course yellow, which is good for us because it slows everybody else down, so we didn't lose a lot of time. Alright, so I'm back out on the track. We're all circulating under the full course yellow, so nobody's passing. Everybody's doing about 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, slow enough to pay attention, and then also slowing down for the safety workers getting out of their way so they can clean up. So there's oil dry all over the track and it's really dusty. So we're going through there nice and slow. So it takes about 7 or 8 laps for the caution to clear, and then we are wide open and I'm expecting to bring it home. And then when I start pushing, I start feeling a very familiar feeling of having no brakes. We have done it 2 times now. This is our 2nd time roasting through an entire set of front brake pads in a very peculiar short period. It really seems driver dependent. But yeah, the brakes usually hold up. We can do a set of pads a day. It took 3/4 of a day and it was toast. So back to, down to the metal backing plate, the rotor and the pad itself, like scraping metal on metal, which does not stop. So yeah. This is not new for us, but it was unexpected because we had swapped in brand new pads the beginning of that morning, and it was raining, so we were expecting them to be a little bit more fit, but I think just our eagerness and the enthusiasm that we had on the team to push and stay in first and try to keep position led to some harder driving, and we eventually just blasted through these cheap pads. We're full force now going. Gary's using all 100 of his horsepower to get down the speedway. So I'm trying to push, right? Trying to maintain position, and I can feel the brakes going. I guess I just didn't, I don't know. Did I not want to be honest with myself in the moment? And just, because it was so close. Anyway, I try to ignore it. I try to use the transmission, lean on it a little bit more, downshifting during turns. But I can tell that this is probably not going to end well. I mean, I think it's just, I'm in denial, right? So I get a good run through the carousel. I have to let a BMW and a WRX by. They're much faster cars, so I'm not going to try to hold them up. But we go down the little back short straight toward turn 8, keep good speed through turn 8, let Gary sail up over that little hill, and then flat through the kink. Just use every bit of gearing and horsepower that Gary has to try to get as much speed through the kink. So I go into turn 11 thinking it's going to be easy peasy. I'm passing a couple guys who are breaking back at 300 or 400 feet where we're normally doing 200, 250 feet. All right, so sending it right into a corner. So I hit the brake pedal, going for the late brake, 250, 300 feet, nothing happened. So suddenly I'm just a passenger. I hit 2 cars. I feel like a complete idiot. And immediately I knew that we were done, right? Our day is cooked. So thanks to me and my, denial of what is actually happening in front of my face and reporting in, I bowling ball through turn 11 and collect a couple cars. So thankfully everyone was okay. After seeing the judges, I think, it was pretty evident that it was a huge bummer. Our passenger side fender was pretty beat up. The lower control arm was bent for sure, and the plastic bumper was totally fine. The polypropylene bumper, let me tell you, it's not the prettiest, but it does bounce back. Luckily, we had ordered a lower control arm about a couple weeks ago because mistakenly we thought that one of the bushings was torn and it needed to be replaced. This was a random backup part that, I didn't think we would ever need. We didn't have one for the driver's side, so I'm glad we had at least this one by total random chance. I pull into the paddock, get parked up, start taking off parts, start doing the diagnosis, the triage as it were. Paimon jumps right into repair mode, trying to get us back out on the track. We only have an hour and a half left, and it's just not, I don't think it was enough time in the day. If this was a Saturday accident, maybe, but late Sunday, right when we needed to just be clutch, it crapped. As always, our neighbors stopped by, other racers checked on us. The Lemons community is fantastic. I can't say enough about the nice people that you meet. We have admittedly had so many instances where we've seemingly destroyed our car for the weekend, and so many people have come out of the woodwork and just offered tools or help or the ability to get back out there and get 4 wheels on the ground. So it's been awesome. I mean, really met a lot of friends and everything. So I want to say thanks to anybody who's ever helped us put the car back together, but hopefully we will do that less and less as we go on. So this was our first time missing a race finish. Usually we can get through Saturday even if we roll the car over or hit a tire wall. Gary's pretty resilient and he's always gone back together pretty well, but just wasn't enough time to fix the car and get back out. The worst part was knowing that it was actually so close. We could have done it. We were right there in first place, legit. So an hour and a half holding out and waiting for the other team to take an extra pit stop, we could have been in. But like I say, our brake pads didn't hold up to the task and we ended up in a crash. So to recap, we lost our splitter, we lost our rear wing, we roasted through another set of brake pads, and we threw away a completely perfectly good shot at Class C. But Gary is legit and great Class C contender, so we're going to come back and do that again. The aero ideas worked. The car might need to be a little more stiff, but they worked. We could feel it. It was hooking up. We're going to try again. And the pace was there. We had a good field of cars, and I think we might have gotten lucky with some of the bigger, faster Class C cars doing what Class C cars do and brake. If we can get another track like that, another event like that where we luck out and do end up being one of the faster cars in our class, then it's all up for grabs. And I want to say again, the best thing is the teamwork. Everybody was there, everybody put in. Dan was turning crazy laps. Paimon was resourceful as ever, fixing the car and getting things prepared. And I was just there trying to, document, do my best. We're all just doing our best. So the next race is going to be better brakes for sure. Like I said, make a comment if you know some better brakes. A lot of people were throwing out names, but for 2010 Corolla, that's what we're looking for. Better cooling, stronger aero mounts, because of mostly Toyota stock Yaris can get this close once, then maybe the next time we'll actually pull it off. Thanks for watching. This was really interesting to make. This is my first fully thought of YouTube video. I've never really produced a YouTube video before, but this is just me in my office trying to put together some memories so that I don't lose them. But I hope you enjoyed watching, and let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and I'm going to try to do one for the other races that we attend. Hopefully we'll see you at another race. Hopefully Laguna Seca. But anyway, bye!